It has been a long 12, 18 hours. I had not gone ahead with this video. I woke up in the morning. I did a live on the match preview. You can as well go into the live section and really get it. But the talk about town is all about Erik Ten Hag sacking decision made by INEOS. Huge question mark, because those close to Manchester United haven't gone ahead obviously confirm that. They've gone ahead to obviously contact the side of Manchester United. Manchester United is like, we are not sacking Erik Ten Hag. And it really shocks that even when Poch was going to be sacked towards the end of the season and his last game he was going to be playing, there was no movement. Like, what is it at Manchester United? And lots of journalists have gone ahead to say lots of things in here for you, and we're here to obviously break them down and see how is INEOS handling this situation. Have they shown us that they are really naive when it comes to running a club like Manchester United? I've seen United fans furious on Twitter. You know, Ten Hag in is trending at #1 in my country, and I think in all over 50 to 60 countries, Ten Hag in is in the top 3 trends, and INEOS is also in the top 10 trends on X, and they are being slated for obviously being naive of handling a club. One of those that has gone ahead of it interest me has gone ahead to come in from a certain guy who has been following up INEOS in France. Remember, they've been running Nice, you know, and it's now 4 or 5 years since they've been running Nice, because they took over Nice in 2019, and they've been sacking a manager every season at that club. So it shows you that they are really naive at running a club like Manchester United. Do they have what we call that? Are they really trigger happy? Because if at a club like Nice that is not all that competitive or competing to go to the Champions League or what, you've gone ahead to sack 5 managers, it means that a club like Manchester United that comes with a lot of history and a lot of demands, you're going to be sacking lots of managers because you are not well conversant with how things are supposed to be done. And if you can't be patient at INEOS, how can you be patient at Manchester United? You understand? That is INEOS for you coming in through. And I've always told people that in my language there is a saying that the more the monkey climbs up the tree, the more it exposes its private parts. And looks like INEOS is going to expose themselves. And I tell you, the Glazers have gone ahead to obviously insulate themselves from the fans, and the fans are not even attacking the Glazers because it's not Glazers out. It's Ten Hag in and INEOS trending. Glazers have gone ahead to obviously get themselves out of the picture, and now INEOS is into the picture. And I tell you what, it's really gonna be very, 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 very hard for us as fans of Manchester United. I get you. I tell you what, get ready for a bumpy ride. I tell you, this ride is gonna be bumpy. It's gonna be bumpy, but this is the club we chose to support. We're excited when INEOS came in through, but I tell you what, the way they are really handling things, I think they've started taking boxes wrong, and they've started to really do exactly what the Glazers are expected to be doing, and we are going to really go deep into that. We thank God for the gift of life, the Muslims. Barakallahu fikum. Continue to subscribe because we want to hit 18,000 subscribers. And today is the day we are playing the FA Cup final. And guess what? It comes in at a very hard day, because a day to the FA Cup finale, we found out a story coming in from Jacob Steinberg, credible journalist coming in from the Daily Mail. He said Manchester United have decided to sack Erik Ten Hag after the FA Cup final. You cannot allow such stories to come in through, you know, when you're going to be having a very important game of the season, because it takes us to Europe, and they note it that Europe is very crucial to Manchester United because they'll help us really get in more money that we would miss out for if at all we don't beat Man City. And it shows you how naive they are at managing leagues. I've been at 70% that Erik Ten Hag is not going to be sacked, and 30% that Ten Hag will be sacked. Now it's a 50-50 for me. It's either he goes or he leaves, and stories are really coming in through. And then after a credible journalist from The Guardian came out and really said that story, then we had Jan Ange Jeffort. He works for ESPN in Netherlands. He told us that Erik ten Hag was told a week before the Arsenal game that he would not be the Manchester United manager next season. Now, a week before the Arsenal game, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, and very many other teams were running at Erik ten Hag, and they wanted to interview him. This is where I don't agree with this guy, because Ten Hag, even before Bayern Munich wanted to interview Vincent Kompany to give him green light, obviously become their new manager, Ten Hag said no. He said, I'm not going to do that interview because that will be very disrespecting to the side of Manchester United. You understand? So, that is Erik ten Hag for you. And now, this is where I don't agree with that source coming in through from the Netherlands that they wanted to sack him, you know? And for the source of the Guardian of Jacob Steinberg, I would say I'll take his word, you know? I'll take his word, because a credible journalist like him to come out conclusively like that, not with a word, all are thinking of, all are planning to, but the statement he put out was really very blunt, you know, and gallant. I tell you what, you have to think about it. Maybe something is going to happen. But after those stories came up, Rick Fay, one of the close sources to Manchester United, formerly working for the Manchester Evening News, and now is working for the Nation World, he told us that Man United still insist that no decision has been made on Erik ten Hag's future, and a full review will happen after the FA Cup final. That's what we are told by Rick Fay. Then Stephen Railstone came up and told us that club sources have insisted they will not engage in speculation about the future of Erik ten Hag. Feels like we are 48 hours away from an inevitable and very reminiscent of 2016 with Louis van Gaal. Now, the picture being painted at the club of Manchester United is all showing that Erik ten Hag is going to be sacked by the club of Manchester United. That is it, you know. And the other credible journalist, who has been a correspondent for Manchester United for the BBC for the last 3 decades, known as Simon Stone, has told us that Erik ten Hag is preparing for the FA Cup final, not knowing whether reports that he will be sacked, no matter what the result, are true. There has been no contact with Erik ten Hag or his representatives by Manchester United. So, it is really very shaky and shoddy, I tell you. When you look at how things are really panning out the club of Manchester United, you ask yourself, why is INEOS allowing this to happen? You know? Because they have their sources outside there that can obviously come in through and put this to a halt and take the manager and take the pressure off the manager. You understand? With stories coming in through, the players are not surprised. With rumors that Erik ten Hag is going to be sacked after the FA Cup game, they're not surprised. You know, have the players going to hate to obviously have a one-on-one talk with INEOS, and they've going to hate to really pin Erik ten Hag. You get? I don't know exactly what is happening. And guess what? We are having Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who hasn't going to hate to manage a business of stars. You know? At Nice, there are no stars there. At I think it's only Joan Cloud that is going to obviously handle stars at PSG and Juventus, and it looks like they might not be listening to him, you know. But he's the same man who has been giving ahead of sacking managers at Nice like nothing. So it looked like INEOS have already gone ahead to make their decision. And for everyone who says that they are going to be weighing in on what Erik ten Hag is going to be done and really draw a conclusion afterwards, I tell you, the analysis has already gone ahead to be made. Ever since they came here in January, they've been here for the last 5 months, and they know exactly what they want. And if Ten Hag is going to be staying, it's a decision that has already gone ahead to be made. You know, if Ten Hag is going to be sacked, it's a decision that it's going to be made. That has already going to be made. And Ten Hag knows it at the back of his mind that he's going to be sacked. You get? For Erik Ten Hag, remember, he addressed a presser after this news was all over. You know? And this embargoed interview came in through at the Manchester United TV. And this is what Erik Ten Hag had to say. He was asked on whether he's going to hold talks with INEOS next week. He said, no, we already did, and on Sunday, I'll go on holiday. I think I deserve it. Ten Hag also added it was not necessary to be given assurances for next season. Now, for Erik Ten Hag, he speaks out on a very strong point of view. I tell you, he's very, very strong. He's not like afraid like anything is going to happen, like he's going to be sacked by the club of Manchester United. I don't know whether it's a point of non-disclosure, you know, but you feel confused a little bit. You feel confused a little bit on what is really happening at the side of Manchester United. Onto the stance of the manager. Ten Hag is saying there is no need to talk to INEOS because they've already gone ahead and really talked together. And that resonates exactly with what I've told you, that if there is a chance for sacking Erik Ten Hag has already gone ahead to be informed. If there is a chance for Ten Hag to keep his job, that stance has already gone ahead to be made by the side of Manchester United. So Ten Hag knows the stance of INEOS on whether he's going to be leaving or he's going to be really staying at the club of Manchester United. You understand? So he says he's going to be going on holiday on Sunday. After Saturday, that is today, play the game, he'll fly out, go to holiday and his family, and really see what statement is going to be put out by the club of Manchester United. And I tell you, after the game, a lot is going to be said. But after the game, like it or not, Ten Hag will have to speak to the media. Before the game, he'll have to speak to the media. And after the game, he'll have to speak to the media. And we'll have to read through the lines to see whether Ten Hag is going to be here or not. But all in all, it's very painful that a manager of Manchester United is being treated like that amidst all the problems he has been having. And it shows you how rudimentary INEOS is when it comes to obviously getting managers in, claiming they don't have money, and they are sacking a manager who is going to cost them close to £10 million. Bringing in a manager will cost them another huge amount of money. Close to 15 to 20 million pounds will be needed. You get? And if they are standing their ground, I don't know exactly what is going to be happening into the mix. Now, Ten Hag also went ahead and really said, or when asked what Manchester United could achieve if he was to stay on the Monday as a manager next season, he said, we are definitely competitive for top four, but the competition, the Premier League, there are many teams in this moment who battle for the top four, but we are definitely in there. So Ten Hag is like, he wants to compete for what we call the top four, right? And competing for the top four next season is really going to be his aim. You understand? And it's really hard, you know, because of what is happening in his vicinity. So for that, we wait and see how that happens. But it looks like the man is really having one leg standing at Manchester United and one leg out of Manchester United. Not both of his legs are standing at Man United. And Ten Hag also said we would have been top four this season if the players would have been available. But that is the biggest thing that has to change. The players over the course of the season are available. So he also adds to that on what expects Manchester United to perform or to be next season. He's clinging so much onto the players being fit, because everything that Manchester United has to do has to start with, the players being fit. No one can pull up a miracle with 60 injuries. Even Pep Guardiola has come out and really spoken about it. You understand? And he was asked about Erik Ten Hag. He said, I have huge respect for the job he has done. He has had a lot of injuries. They had a lot of problems. The squad is really good, but if they are injured, you can't use them. You hear what Pep Guardiola is saying? Injuries have been the problem. And I tell you what, even Pep Guardiola cannot operate with such number of injuries. I tell you, because with Rodri only suspended, Kevin De Bruyne injured, you saw what happened to Man City. In 6 games, they lost 1, drew 3, I think they lost 2, drew 3, and won 1. That is Man City for you, with just Rodri and Kevin De Bruyne out. So, what do you expect to happen to the side of Manchester United that is just in its race to where we want it to be? And if INEOS isn't considering this, then football is not meant for them. And we just wait to see to it that they get themselves into a shooting position set by themselves. Because the moment you sack Erik Ten Hag, when the fans are really loving him, fan favorite, you are setting yourself. You are shooting yourself in your foot. I tell you, you're just shooting yourself there, because Manchester United fans welcomed INEOS, and they really want to see to it that they keep this in here for you. So if they welcomed you and they've been really doing what we call the due diligence to give these people the best they deserve as far as assurance, support, and seeing them as the people to rejuvenate United, and they've gone ahead to sack the manager in the names of Erik Ten Hag, it's really gonna be very, 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 very bad. You know, they would have gone ahead to set themselves in a target to be shot at by the club of Manchester United. And the only way they are gonna find themselves surviving this is by getting in a manager to replace Erik Ten Hag and hit the ground running. The moment they get in a manager and he fails, the fans are gonna hate that manager and they're gonna hate INEOS imminently. I tell you, all the prayers for INEOS should, you sack Erik Ten Hag, get in a new manager, and that manager hits the ground running. If he doesn't, I tell you, a lot is really gonna backfire at them, because they would have gone ahead to do the worst of a business into their career. You know, it's like they are setting themselves to fail at the club of Manchester United. You sack Erik Ten Hag, a fan's favorite manager. Tell you what, you are gonna dance, you're gonna feel the music of fire coming in through from the fans of Manchester United. Now, we are having Freak Jansen. He works for Votable International. He has confirmed to us that there will be an exclusive major interview with Erik Ten Hag today morning at Vitelbo International. The manager gives a candid insight into the season and his future. Now, we just can't wait for that interview to come in through. And I know when it's done, I'll be one of the first people to come in here to really tell you what exactly it's going to be like and what Ten Hag is going to hate to say. Because everyone has going to hate to shift his attention from the game you're playing against Manchester City to whether Erik Ten Hag stays or not. And if you are INEOS, you are handling things badly. You would have gone ahead to do what Chelsea did. They shielded their manager from any criticism until when they came out with a decision, you know, and the decision was really made after, because the decision was made, was it on Tuesday, Wednesday this week, you know, yet the last game was played on Sunday. You understand, you know? So, INEOS are keeping their cards at their chest, but it looks like some people have gone ahead to obviously know exactly what they are going to do. So guys, we call upon for your reactions into the comment section below. Ten Hag sacking decision made by INEOS. Huge question mark. I would love to see what your thoughts are about this, but we remain United Matters channel. First video of the day, second video. But I just can't wait for your comments into the comment section below. I love you guys. I love you, die. And let us continue to put up the best in here onto this channel. Bye-bye. See you later and good morning.